fear through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with a win. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, danced a jig over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son still had me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Backyard Beers and Football. I am Rob. Today I'm joined by Shane and Steve. Guys, Steve, you had a good weekend with your Chiefs winning on Thursday night, but for us Eagles fans, fucking miserable.
I'm confused. Patrick Mahomes is hurt.
Yeah, but you won.
Yes,
you won.
Patrick Mahomes is hurt.
Yeah, but come on, you won at least. I mean, the Eagles are hurt as well, and they have some guys hurt, but they back-to-back weeks, absolute shit show first out in Minnesota. We talked about that last week. And then the abomination 37-10 loss where the team just didn't even show up. They didn't even get off the damn plane. I don't even know if they got on the damn plane to go to Dallas. One of the most embarrassing performances I have ever seen during my years as an Eagles fan. Going into a rivalry game, Doug Peterson talking a big game before the game started, saying that the Eagles were going to go down and win in Dallas, and it was terrible. Putrid effort. Every single guy who stepped out on the field, it was bad. It was really bad. There's no single person who is, I guess, exempt from blame this weekend. So, guys, I guess Shane, we'll start with you. What do you have to say about this pathetic performance on Sunday night?
Reeks of the Philadelphia Phillies. Everything about the dysfunction of this organization right now, top on down, it mirrors the Phillies in a way that makes me just so uncomfortable. It's not even funny.
Oh my God, I'm starting to see the parallels here. I'm really starting to see the parallels between Howie Roseman and Matt Klentak. And another thing that I was kind of thinking of, because I think Ike Reese was talking about it on WIP on my way over here. I'm starting to see some parallels between this Philadelphia Eagles team and the recent years of the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons went to the Super Bowl, blew that lead. They dropped by 3 wins the year after that, and then they dropped by 3 more wins to 7-9 last year, whereas you have the Eagles, who at least won the Super Bowl, but dropped by 4 wins to 9-7 last year, and then the way this season is going, they might not finish 500. So it's kind of an alarming thing, and there's been a lot of talk about Howie Roseman, and maybe he got a little bit complacent after winning that Super Bowl, and he hasn't been as aggressive in going out and kind of replenishing the roster. They have one of the older rosters in the NFL.
I think he's been trying. He's definitely been trying. I just don't think the right deal's out there. He's got to save his draft picks. And no matter how you feel about his drafting, you still need to have the draft picks. So, sure, you can make your quick fixes, but you can only do that for so long. Maybe this is the year where it's hurting them. They realize that. They need to hold on to the draft picks.
Yeah, I look, no matter how inefficiently or how ineffectively you draft, you can't. There's always next year. Shameless plugs of names. You do have to protect those assets. You can't blow them all on one piece when you're not one piece away. And this Eagles team is just not one piece away. What do you guys think? What do you think is a more dramatic problem right now? Do you think it's Howie in the fact that he's not pulling this trigger on the Jalen Ramsey type of splash deal, or right now even the second tier type of deals, or the Golden Tate type of third tier deals that we had last year? Or do you think it's Doug Peterson in the way that he is almost managing an arrogance right now? Like, this guy, I've never had more of a problem with a coach in Philadelphia since outside of Chip Kelly.
Believe it or not,
Dave Haxtell.
I know that I brought up Howie, and for the most part, I've been on Howie's side, and I still am for the most part. I think that by and large, he's done a good job as the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles. Doug Peterson, I'm completely unimpressed with the way that he's coached the past 2 seasons, and I think that we talked about it last time. He really misses Frank Reich. Frank Reich made Doug Peterson a great head coach in 2017. Frank Reich made that offense run the way that it did.
Do we know for sure, though? We can assume because of what he's doing elsewhere and things like that, but I think Steve mentioned it last week. They may have just been that perfect marriage of coaching regimes together that it worked. And one of them is able to be successful and build a coaching staff around him that complements him well. And Doug Peterson maybe just isn't. Like, I'm not 100% sold that just because you remove X, that's 100% the problem. Like, we give a lot of credit to Reich, and I think he's a phenomenal head coach, but I don't know that he's everything. At a certain point, if Doug Peterson's the guy, he's got to be the freaking guy.
Well, we saw a significant drop-off in the offense between 2017 and last year, and we're seeing that same performance from last year carry over to this year.
Has it been Al Groh the whole time since Reich left?
Mike Groh.
Mike
Groh,
Groh.
whatever. Who's Al Groh? I don't know.
His dad.
Oh, okay.
Who fired him from Virginia.
Yeah. Man, when you get fired by your dad, you know you're fucked up.
And still get snapped up by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, so I think that's the movie you want to look at. Say, this was the fucking problem. Like, maybe Deuce, when, like, I'm surprised Deuce didn't get the promotion offensive coordinator. But
Yeah,
then
so am I.
Well, he got that, like, faux assistant
Yeah.
head coach type of thing.
yeah, but then again, I'm looking at his running back usage, and
It's always been
it's
a problem.
queer. Like, it's just bizarre. Like, Boston Scott out of the practice squad, he's getting 7 carries. You have Miles Sanders. You have
Well, he
Jordan
got
Howard.
7 carries when the game was 27 points out of hand.
I don't care. You still come back. What quarter was it? I was not awake for this
It was
game.
5 minutes left in the fourth.
Okay, there's still time.
Except Boston Scott was out there, but so was Carson Wentz. My thing with last year, when we talk about the offensive drop-off, is last year was a unique circumstance. Last year, you're coming off of the Super Bowl year. No one's healthy. The longest, your shortest offseason that you're going to have. Carson Wentz obviously coming back from injury, didn't start right away, had to start with Nick Foles. Things didn't quite make sense. That to me, I don't want to say, all right, this is a pass year, but like, I got it. I understood it. This year, I don't. There is so much just vanilla hesitancy or just distrust from, or at least it appears that way, from Doug Peterson to Carson Wentz. There's no creativity. There's no explosion. There's nothing. And if you build your entire offense on the need for speed and you are horrifically not fast, I have a problem with that. I don't necessarily think that this is 100% in any particular area of blame right now. I just think that Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson is, if you're counting and banking on him to be the guy and the leader, and to make everyone around him right, he's got a scheme for Carson, and he's got to let the kid play.
I'm surprised. I almost said it again. I'm surprised Mike Groh still has this job. Like,
I'm shocked.
You saw it
I'm
last
shocked
year.
at him and Schwartz.
Schwartz, I think you still keep. I think like they can still get through that. But keeping the offense coordinator when your offense is still not doing well. I know Doug Peterson's an offensive guy, but I think you got to have a scapegoat. You got to try anything.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think after a game like this, I didn't watch it, I'm looking at the stats, that this is a game where you cut the cord on that, and then you move on. Maybe they're waiting for the bye week. When is their bye?
2 weeks, 3 weeks?
It's 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Howie, and Doug, I had that sit-down conversation saying shit's got to change within these 2 weeks, or we're making a move for a different offense coordinator.
Yeah, and we all know that, like, at the end of the day, like, Doug's the one making these decisions and calls, he's play calling, everything like that. Like, no one really knows what Mike Groh does. But if there's a collaborative effort in the scheming and scouting and what you do to prepare, well, something's not fucking working, and another voice in his ear can't hurt at this point. You cannot be worse than what this team is right now, unless you're the Jets. Like, that's
At least the
kinda
Jets
it.
can beat the Cowboys.
Well,
They weren't anticipating Darnold being back. That's why I'm blaming.
Still, they showed up. They
I-
didn't have a completely embarrassing effort against a team that I think the Eagles should have been on the same par on par with, as opposed to losing by 27 points.
that was bad. It was this is what drives me crazy about this Eagles game. If you can't get up for Dallas week, so many players talked about the lack of energy or the lack of attention to detail in practice, or the lackadaisical kind of, let's just kind of get through this week of practice and let's get to Sunday. If you can't get up for Dallas, you shouldn't be in a uniform in Philadelphia. I'm sorry. That's embarrassing. This is the biggest rivalry possibly in the city. Outside of when the Mets are great and the Phillies are great. That's a damn good rivalry. But, like, outside of that, this is it. And you can't get up for that? That's inexcusable. And that, to me, is a Doug thing. Like, that cannot happen.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with, I guess, what Lane Johnson said after the game, which he alluded to players being late for practices and meetings and stuff like that. And some of the other players kind of clapped back and said that it wasn't happening, or they said that they weren't aware of it at least. More dysfunction, absolutely. And look, I trust Lane Johnson when he says that kind of stuff's going on, because I
don't trust anyone right now.
I don't see Lane Johnson being the kind of guy who kind of just make up crap just to
do you see Malcolm Jenkins, because he's on the other side of that? Do you see Malcolm Jenkins as making shit up?
I think I see Malcolm Jenkins as kind of
the two
throwing the cover over it.
I'd trust Jenkins, but more. But
because Lane Johnson took performance enhancing drugs, so
he's a distrustful human. No, but that's my thing though. Like when you take a look at like two of the arguably most respected players on each side of the football for us, the best right tackle in football and the heart and soul of the Philadelphia Eagles defense, probably the best acquisition the franchise had made in franchise history, and Malcolm Jenkins. One of the two of them is fucking lying right now. Who? How can you place your eggs in either one of those baskets? There's too much dysfunction.
It's tough to go, but I see it as a situation as Malcolm Jenkins is just covering something up because he doesn't want it getting to the press and becoming a bigger issue than they see it already being. I think that Lane Johnson's onto something. I think that Lane, he opened up about something that's been going on behind closed doors, and Malcolm Jenkins, he just kind of wanted to throw a cover over it.
I don't.
This is entertaining to me because we got the Malcolm Jenkins side on this side and then the Lane Johnson side on this side, and I'm just here on the corner like, oh, okay. Right.
Taking it all in. Hopefully like the listeners are right now. Well, not now, but whenever you listen to this pod.
Yeah, I get the visual of literally just each side right next to me.
It's like playing tennis.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, argumentative tennis.
Can I be a little bit positive? I'm not the Eagles fan, but I seem like I'm more positive than you guys. You guys are only 3-4.
Oh, and
the Cowboys are 4-3.
It's the most miserable 3-4 ever that I've seen the last 2 weeks.
But you're Eagles fans. You're Eagles fans. Every single time you guys are like 3-4, maybe even say you were like 3-3. The sky is fucking falling. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yes, you do.
I don't get it.
Yes, you do. Well, you can't get
My Chiefs either suck or they're good.
I'll tell you this though, it's not like the first year of Chip Kelly when they started off 3-5 and nobody had any expectations for them, and then they went on a run, finished 10-6. No, it has a completely different feel from that because we expected them to be a Super Bowl contender this year.
Yeah, but then who's wrong here? Are we wrong for expecting too much? Like, did we sit here and we took a look at, like, I hate you using like the types of moves that you make to sit here and I don't know. I can't even find the word for it, but like, did we overvalue the Deshaun Jackson thing? Like this feel-good reunion, this, oh my God, this offense is great with speed. We got speed, but we know Deshaun Jackson doesn't fucking play 16 games.
Okay, so there, you did, but here, your first part of that, no, you didn't overvalue it, because once he went down, shit went to hell, it seems like.
But when you sit there, you have to, it's the NFL, and Deshaun Jackson, as great as he is, as valuable as he is, he misses football games. And when you don't have a contingency plan there, when you enter in with just Torrey Smith one year, and if he goes down, what do you got? When you go with Mike Wallace and the next year, what do you got? Don't say Shelton Gibson. And then this year, Deshaun Jackson goes down. What do you have? Where's the speed? If your offense only works if you have an outside guy to take the top off, that way Ertz works. That way Nelson Aguilar doesn't suck. That way the running backs have room and there's not 8 people in the box all the time. If you know that, why do you only get one receiver with speed, one person that can take the top off the defense?
Yeah, that's the problem.
So we sat here and we fell in love with the fact that a homecoming of a guy who never wanted to leave the city and that we never wanted to leave in the first place. We felt great about that, and one acquisition made us say Super Bowl contender. Why? We're idiots.
You know, it wasn't just one acquisition though, and this I'll come in and I'll defend the fan base here because you can't anticipate both Deshaun Jackson and Malik Jackson getting hurt. You can't anticipate Tim Jernigan getting hurt. You can't anticipate Avonte Maddox getting hurt. You can't anticipate all the freaking injuries that they've had this year. Which brings me to another thing. They need a new fucking medical staff.
I think they just changed their medical staff.
Well, they need a new one.
Like, this is
because it sucks. It sucked 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. It sucked last year.
I think last year was the year they changed it.
Yeah, and then it still sucks this year. What is going on?
Shit happens. Shit just happens. But
shit has been happening to the Eagles far more often than just about any other team.
Well, we think that way because we're ingratiated in the city right now. that is what it is. Like, I'm sure people out in, I don't know, out in L.A. watching the Chargers is thinking that their world is the world. Well, they don't have real fans. But if they did, they'd probably be sitting there saying, no, their life is worse than the Philadelphia Eagles, which, let's be serious, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Outside of the fact that they get to live in L.A.
Outside of the fact that they don't care about their football team.
Yeah, then every game they have is an away game.
That's true.
But listen, I'm on the outside or the inside looking in. Because I'm not an Eagles fan, but I'm here in Philly, and shit happens. Like you have an injury, you're still 3-4. The sky's not fucking falling.
15.9% make the playoffs.
That's it. Okay, they can
3
still
and 4 teams.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I'm making this number up.
So he's saying that now is a great time to go to Parks and put more money on the Eagles.
Yeah, like the only thing I'm concerned about is my parlay of the Chiefs and the Eagles being in the Super Bowl.
You should be.
I'm still
I can't remember what that
You
pays
should go
out.
put another. That's what I'm
380?
saying. You should go put another parlay in. That way, you'll make even more money.
This is true, and I also put it on Mahomes being the MVP.
Yeesh.
Hey, the odds have dropped, so more money. Just $5.
It's only $5.
But just utilize Jordan Howard more. Utilize Miles Sanders more. And Dallas Goedert, I will say, looking at his stats, 4 targets, 4 catches, 69 yards, nice, touchdown. Like
Nice.
that's probably the one good thing I can see from their offense looking at the stats. So that's good. Dallas Goedert's being utilized and he's producing. So
When you don't have speed, you have to use that 12 personnel. You have to have both tight ends on the field. And they're going to double Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is... I can't tell if he's having a bad season or just a crowded season. Like the man does not... He cannot create space. He's not a guy that's going to create space, but Carson's going to have to fit the football in a window between 2 defenders instead of just 1 now with him. That makes Goddard a necessity to be an integral part of your offense.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he is having a crowded season, but I also think that he doesn't seem like himself this year. He's dropping a lot more passes than he normally does.
He's got more hands around him. He's got to worry even more about contact.
That's true, but even in years past, he was able to make catches in crowds. And this year, he's had even a few times when he's been open and a ball's glanced off his hands, gone incomplete. Some of them have been bad throws by Carson.
Source.
Some of them have been bad throws by Carson, but still should have been caught. I remember one against Detroit where, it would have been like a 7 or 8 yard gain. Not a huge deal, but he was wide open, off his hands, incomplete. A pass that he would have caught in years past. So, yeah, it's a case of both for Zach Ertz this year.
You said Josina's source. Conspiracy theory. It's Julie Ertz.
You think it's Julie Ertz?
Zach's going home. He's upset.
I like
he
it.
rants.
Oh, man.
I like
Julie's
it because it was just a text message, right? I think that's all it was. Like there was no story written about it, was there?
No, there wasn't.
This shit just kind of came out.
There's always spousal issues, relationship issues,
She's the superstar in the household.
Yeah.
You can't cut it. He's coming home. He's like, man, I'm ineffective in this relationship.
Somebody mentioned something, though. There was a coincidence that last year the Josina Anderson thing happened 8 days before the first Cowboys game. This year happens right before the first Cowboys game.
So you're saying the Cowboys are cheaters with
the
their
Cowboys?
spots.
The Cowboys have something going on there.
Maybe so, man. Smarter franchise than us at this juncture.
Sticking to my conspiracy theory.
Except when it comes to winning playoff games.
Well, yeah, that's true. What, 1 or 2 playoff wins in the last 20-some years?
Yeah, one of them against us.
So, yeah.
No, was that with Tony Romo? Was that what Tony Romo?
2009, yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Well, that was more because they shut us out because Donovan McNabb did some stupid dance going onto the field and then
Donovan
gave us
McNabb's an idiot.
Yeah, he gave us bad juju.
Carson Wentz is about to become a swear word. Did you guys read that article today?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they're saying that Wentz is about to get thrown into like a category with the McNabbs and with shit. I can't remember the other.
No, because Wentz isn't making stupid plays nor making stupid runs to get hurt.
But he's so polarizing in this fan base right now. Like there are people who sit there and they're like, and they're not wrong.
It's not Carson Wentz's fault that Nick Foles won a Super Bowl.
It is not Carson Wentz's fault that Foles won a Super Bowl. Clearly, I think that there's something that happens to coaches, and in particular right now it appears with Doug Peterson. When your superstar, we'll call him a star, when your star quarterback, your franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz goes down, you say fuck it. And you just say, let's open up the playbook and let's see what works. Because if it doesn't work, well, it's my backup quarterback. Shit happens. That is a far more fun and effective offense run by Nick Foles here. Because if it didn't work, who gives a shit? It's Nick Foles. It's the backup. It is what it is. Carson doesn't get that luxury. Carson right now is getting safe play calls. So the way that Carson is being portrayed in the city right now, I do not think is at fault or at his own fault. I think it's the way that he's being utilized and the pieces around him. Like, I don't want to conspiracize that and say that, oh, like, this is Doug doesn't want Carson. Doug doesn't want this. Doug doesn't want that.
Leave the conspiracy theories to me.
I'll leave the conspiracy theories to Steve and Whiskey
A
Ramble.
resident conspiracy theorist.
I know. Still got to add that bit, by the way, on Whiskey Ramble. It's such quality podcasting that would be. But yeah, there's just so much to unpack with it. And in that article, they were saying that like he's rapidly approaching that point where like if you mention Donovan McNabb in this household, like I'm saying that I can't stand him and I didn't enjoy his time in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, LJ states that he's the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. Like there's no just middle ground there. There's no like, yeah, he was fine. Like people hate you or love you, and that's how Carson Wentz is right now, and he's joining those names.
Look, let's wait until Carson Wentz throws up on the field and throws 3 picks in a Super Bowl.
And when you say that, LJ responds by saying, "Where's the video? Show me the video. It never happened." Immediately.
Either that or he'll just bring up that Carson Wentz has never played in the Super Bowl.
So, or that too.
Or a playoff game for that matter.
But that's what I mean. Like he's just becoming this polarized figure. And this is a really difficult city to have that type of love-hate relationship with fans and media and just the way that people perceive you or portray you. It's hard for Carson Wentz right now.
It's tough, and yeah, he's in an unfortunate situation kind of because of his injury and what Nick Foles did, winning the Super Bowl here and then winning a playoff game last year. Carson's
selfish-ass Nick Foles winning us a freaking Super Bowl and ruining the franchise.
I know, right? Best and worst thing ever to happen to this franchise. Well, really the best, not the worst, but...
Absolutely. It's the best.
Yeah. But,
Honestly,
Carson's in a position right now where... Not because of his own doing. He needs to win back the faith of the fan base. And it's hard to do that here.
It's strange that he's losing the faith. Like, I don't
get how
I don't get it either.
I mean, well, I shouldn't totally say that. There are certain things that really piss me off about Carson. Mac Hollins has been on the field for 90 some snaps now since Deshaun went down. A single target. Why is he on the fucking football field? Let's just play 11 on 10. Just take him off the damn field. I really don't care at this point.
Take him off, put in Goddard.
Put in anyone. I don't care. Like, I genuinely... put a freaking cornerback. They can't cover. Let's see if they can catch. Put them out there. I don't care right now. But why is he out there?
No, just put
That's partially schemed. It's partially the fact that, like, look... we're not going to scheme a freaking thing for Mac Hollins, but at a certain point, you have to. And at a certain point, you got to look to that side of the football field. Why? Safety help over the top for Alshon all day. It doesn't really matter. And double covered. Who the fuck is fearing Mac Hollins right now? You got to throw the football there at a certain point. So there are certain things like that where I look at and I say, you got to be smarter.
Yeah, and Mac Hollins, he has some speed. I'm surprised they don't utilize him a little bit more often in the absence of Deshaun.
If he runs too fast, his body falls apart.
Yeah, but as long as before his body falls apart, you still got him. He might as well.
Single play.
Might as well. Nah, more than a single play. Come on, man. Don't be too down on his physical ability to stay healthy.
Oh, Shane can speak from experience for that.
So can you, ass.
Listen, I never got hurt consistently until this big ass injury. I just constantly had groin issues, and I still played through it.
There you go.
And effective. Okay, I'm done there.
I like the little effective at the end of that.
Oh man. All right, so I think now is a good time. Now that we're wrapping up our Eagles diatribes here and kind of venting our frustrations with the team, we can get into the Lane Johnson's Groundhog Advice column. Shane, do you have the questions that we received there?
Yeah, man, so we got 2 in this week. One this week and one that I didn't read last week, or 2 weeks ago. Can't remember. All right. First one, for those of you new listeners who don't know what this is, Lane Johnson was on a WIP interview, and he said the worst part of his summer was the fact that he had a groundhog in his backyard and didn't know how to get it and remove it. So he asked for advice of the listeners on how to shoot it or get rid of it or whatever he was going to do. So we changed that and made it a bit here, so you guys can ask us advice about anything. Football, life, doesn't really matter. We will answer. So your first one. Gents, I enjoy what you guys have done with the show, adding the third person and talking more around the entire NFL. I actually need a bit of advice regarding interior design. This made me laugh when I heard that line, or when I read that line. I didn't necessarily want to continue. So, writer of this, I did continue, and we're answering now. I know It's a little bit weird, but my father-in-law and I have recently finished my basement. My wife got her kitchen and reading nook a few years back, and so now I have creative freedom on our now finished basement. I'm struggling between bar entertainment, things like a big TV, pool table, dartboards, obviously the bar and things like that, or making a home theater / collectibles studio. If I go with the second option, I do free up a large portion of my home office that I can then turn into something else that I choose at a later date. But I like to entertain, and I'm going to want to show off this new basement. Which option should I go with? Oh, and one last thing. If you do tell me to go with the bar entertainment style basement, I need to know, do I go NFL theme, NHL theme, or strictly Philadelphia sports? A lot to unpack in this here, but I trust you guys to help me decide. Rob, start with you.
You got to go with the first option, man. If you're one who wants to entertain, give it a football theme. Specifically give it an Eagles theme. That way it can be a dungeon of disappointment every Sunday.
Who the hell's going to want to go there?
Eagles fans. I mean, come on, man. We're all gluttons for punishment, right?
I guess.
So, yeah, make it an Eagles themed basement. Have the game on down there. Have a whole bunch of, decorate it with all your Eagles stuff and whatnot. And, it'll be a good time, hopefully, more often than not. Hopefully the team will pull out some wins for you, but at least you can commiserate together with your friends when they lose.
Yeah, and get the pool table as long as you have enough space in case, games are not going your way. You can distract yourself and smash some balls into holes.
And stock the hell out of that bar because you're going to need it.
Yes, and actually utilize your bar, unlike my roommate. I'm the only one that fucking utilizes it, and it's still it's like a storage fucking thing. It doesn't make sense. So utilize the bar to its fullest potential. But also, I would say, each wall, Philadelphia sports, Eagles their own wall, Phillies their own wall.
Oh,
Flyers
accent
their
that
own
out.
wall.
I dig that.
Sixers their own wall, yeah. That, and then, whichever one you prefer more, just add some more of them.
Yeah, I think that you can kind of merge the two of these. Like, you're not going to get a full, movie home theater out of this. But if you wanted to move your collectibles down there, like, as long as you trust your company, which I have to assume you do if you're inviting them over, sure, like, maybe dedicate a wall to each sport. And maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be Philadelphia themed if you're that, if you only collect Philadelphia things, fine. But if not, add it to the MLB wall, add it to the NFL, NHL, NBA wall. What doesn't really matter. Tennis, if you like it. Who gives a damn? Golf, which it should be golf over tennis, by the way. But definitely, if you're going to have a bar,
like a man with no knees.
Damn right. But if you are going to have a bar, like Steve said, definitely stock it. Your guests will appreciate it. You'll feel cooler, I promise.
$5 cover.
Yeah, there you go. $5 cover for that. I would have a poker table there. You can rake on that and take a little extra income that way. Pool tables, dartboards.
I don't know about dartboards. How much do you trust your company? And
if you have a cork board behind it, you're good. Yeah. Like if it's just a part of the wall, they could be drinking a lot. If your bar is that stocked. Magnetic dartboard for children.
Yes.
Put that there. Shuffleboard if it's hardwood floors. Who gives a fuck?
If you got some money, get one of those machines, like the dart machines. They have the bars.
What do they have there?
The machine that's a dartboard.
It's like this whole machine's got all the games you can play on darts, and it's not totally like metal darts.
Okay.
So
yeah, plastic tip darts with the. I got you. So yeah, lots to unpack there. So that's what we would do. We would combine the both of them, and so long as you trust your company, I would bring those collectibles down, open up another additional space for yourself. I guess it's your home office.
Or how about going in this direction? You can make it
strip club.
Well, yeah, that's obviously the best option right there. The strip club would be great. But I was thinking, how about you could have the bar, but you can make your TV area like theater styled. Just have cable, so you obviously can watch the Eagles games there.
Yeah, and also Flyers games and every other game.
Yeah.
Well,
the main day is going to be Sundays, but
I think
Eagles play at night. Let's watch Red Zone before them and get fucking hammered.
And that way you also have a whole bunch of alcohol down there for when you want to get drunk and watch a movie.
Yes, there you go. That I can do.
Well, there you go. You got a lot to unpack. So I don't know if we helped you out at all or if we just complicated this thing for you further, but send us pictures of what it ends up looking like, and maybe we'll do a show from your basement for your family. All right. Second one we got in was I need work-life advice. I work with a small team in a small environment with after several years of no personnel change, I think we are all starting to wear on one another. A position has opened up for a promotion that could possibly shake things up, and 2 of the 4 of us are gunning for it. I am not one of the 4, mind you. I don't particularly care for the company or job. That's funny.
You're not alone.
Here's the problem. We are left essentially unsupervised for 364 days a year, and that one day is scheduled months out, so we are all really casual about our work and our space and the way that we go about things. Now, it's not required to stay late. However, if we do choose to stay late, we can then take a half day the next day, so long as we get our 40 hours in and no more than 12 hours in a day. Sounds like a solid setup.
Yeah.
Right? When we do stay late, we always have the TV on, whatever game is on. It's the only way we can really get through some of these later evenings. A few weeks ago, my coworker, who is typically the first person to turn on this TV, grab a deck of cards, play poker, or eat dinner, flipped out on me in front of one of the other guys who chose to stay late that night for the Monday Night Football game. This clown is going for the promotion, and I'll probably get it too. I'm not sure how to go about my work now. Even during the standard business hours, he's created such a hostile environment, going 180 degrees in the opposite direction. It feels like he's a corporate mole. How should I go about this ordeal? Should I just hope that he gets the promotion and then groom the next guy or gal to be more accepting the way that we were? Or should I talk with him about it? What would you guys do in this situation?
That's tough. That's, I can't really give you a great answer to that. I don't know what I'd do. I would probably just quit that job and find somewhere else to work.
I think that's what you always say about jobs.
Well, yeah, because all these job descriptions, it sounds like it's miserable there.
Well, they're not writing in because they're happy. Like, this advice column is for bad shit.
Well, yeah, my thing is, if you hate a job so much, find a new one.
All right, well.
Yeah, it's tougher. I'm confused. I'm not sure if the person who gets this promotion is away from this group. So if that's the case,
well, they said that they're unsupervised for 364 days. So I can't imagine the dude's going to be there.
Yeah. All right. So I would recommend having a conversation, a civil, calm conversation. Yeah, dude, what the fuck? Listen, I'm assuming you're going for this.
a duel.
I assume you're going for this promotion. Just based off the way you've been acting recently, you weren't like this before. Listen, we're still doing our job and everything. Just maybe try to calm it back. I know you're trying to get it, but just do you and what you used to do that put you in this position to potentially get a promotion. You don't have to go all fucking AWOL, but as coolly and calmly as possible.
There you go. I would start it with a conversation similarly to what Steve said. I've witnessed this. A lot of people sit there and they feel that it's crazy to me. So when you go for promotions in your work and whatever you do, or you're being considered for one, you're being considered for one for the way that for the entire package. They think that you're a good worker. They like your results and they like the way that you work or interact with your team, right? So why dramatically change these things and try to be something so far beyond or different than what they're already expecting? Doesn't sound like you have the supervision, obviously, but the results are obviously there. Okay. I would just tell it, why the fuck are you changing? You're up for a promotion. Let's not fluff this book right now. Just be what you are. Calm the fuck down. What if his results are suffering because he doesn't get to watch Monday Night Football in peace, play some cards, and steal some money from coworkers? Maybe that's what gets him through the week.
Yeah. Every promotion I ever went for, I was still exactly the same. When I was young, I was still angry. When I was older, I was just already doing the job. And
there you go.
Again, when I was older, I was already doing the job.
There it is.
All I did was just continue, occasionally just flaunt my unhappiness of not even being considered for a promotion.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't change how I was with these other coworkers, and I can understand where this person's coming from with seeing other people change. Yeah, dude, just chill. Just chill. You could get it. You could not. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But let's just go back to, how we were. It's gonna hurt.
Oh God. I'm gonna miss you, bud.
Force a tear.
There it is. Yeah, man, I don't know. I always think work environments and work relationships are difficult. You spend more time with them than you do with your family, and you're forced to interact more so than what you do with your own family. Yeah. And that becomes old, But try with the civil conversation. If that doesn't work, turn a fucking game on anyway. We don't care. Yeah. You shouldn't care either. If your results are still getting done in the way that they are, he's not your supervisor yet. He can sit his ass down.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
All right, so that was Lane Johnson's Groundhog Advice column of the week. Again, you guys can write in. When you guys don't write in anything that's of conversational, allure to us, we will ask each other for advice on different things. So please be funny so that we don't have to. It really helps us out here.
Nah, I can't help it, though.
What's that?
Being funny.
Well, you're fucking hilarious. You're brilliant, too. That's why we brought you in, Steve. Third voice in the pod. All right, so what do you guys want to go to? You want to talk Chiefs football or you want to talk around the NFL as a whole?
I don't want to talk about Chiefs football. I'm saving that for Chiefs talk.
You want to skip Chiefs talk this week? Or
I want to
Chiefs
talk
on
about
this one?
I want to talk about trades.
You want to talk about trades? Start us off,
let's-
Steve.
I'm not used to this many trades happening.
No
I feel
one
like.
is.
By the way, Michael
Really?
Bennett to
Michael
the
Betts
Cowboys.
to the Cowboys.
That
yeah.
happened?
That was broken
Yeah.
by LJ sitting right a couple
I
rooms
think
down
he's
from us.
true.
Of course, all he does fucking just looks up the shit, even shit he doesn't care about, and he just messages us about it. So sometimes I admire it, other times I'm like, I already fucking saw this. And I never respond. But even going to like the off season, the beginning of the season, there was the Texans trading for like Carlos Hyde, which I knew was going to happen.
You did call that on your inaugural Chiefs segment.
Then trading for Stills and Tunsil, and then going into the season, I don't think they made any other trades.
Getting rid of Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, the Jadeveon Clowney, which and then they traded for someone with that pick. I think it was the Dolphins.
Yes.
Yeah, for
flipped
Laremy Tunsil.
Yeah.
Yep.
So more recently, I mean, Mohamed Sanu to the Patriots for a second-round pick, I thought was kind of ridiculous.
That's insanely high. I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to be a third-round
It's
pick.
basically a third-round pick, but still, like just the fact that it's a second-round pick, it just automatically ups the market. And then you see it with Emmanuel Sanders.
Second and third.
I think it was a third and a fourth.
Third and fourth, is it?
Yeah, for Sanders and a fifth. So I feel like the
Broncos fifth was with him, was attached to him. It
Yeah,
was third
so
and
I feel like
fourth, you're right.
the Broncos should have got more, but I'm happy to see them fail.
Sure.
Shit, there was another one. Quandre Diggs to the Seahawks.
For like a fifth and seventh.
That was a steal right there.
Yeah, it was
Absolute
Diggs.
steal.
Diggs and a
Darius Slay
seven.
was so pissed. Y'all see
I
his
know.
Twitter after that?
He's not alone though. Like that's like ruining the Lions. Like, come on, like you're still competitive. Like,
you
why
are.
are you gonna do this?
I have no idea.
Yeah, the Lions, think about it, they're like 3 bad calls and a couple, like a goal line fumble away from being top of that division right now.
I know it's
Pretty
crazy.
much.
So let's look. Like, I want to like. We know that it happened. Let's look at like some potential other trades that could happen. Like Leonard Williams is on the block. Mm-hmm. So many receivers.
Patrick
on the
Peterson, go get him, Howie.
I feel like Patrick Peterson is going to be the Cardinals' quarterback equivalent of Larry Fitzgerald, where he's always going to be in these trade talks and he's never going to get
And he's
traded.
never going to get moved.
You know, you got the Robbie Andersons. You got is there really anybody else? I
I don't think
just
Robbie Anderson's
AJ
going
Green.
anywhere.
I think he might.
Trade wise,
Yeah.
No, I don't think because he's Darnold's only target there. And
Parker in Miami.
Parker in Miami. Basically anybody in
Anyone
Miami.
in Miami.
Xavier
that's true.
Howard.
Xavier
Yeah.
Howard, yeah.
Vic Beasley on the Falcons.
basically
I
anybody
jokingly
in the Falcons.
texted L today, but do you think anyone can make a splash for Julio?
no.
It's no, I don't see
I think
it
it's
happening.
so horrifically unlikely with the deal and everything.
No.
But
I think they think that once they get a new coach and maybe new
well, they
general
should. There's
manager,
enough
I
offensive
mean,
talent.
They
there.
just got they just
Yeah.
took a second for Sanu, so that drives up the market for Julio
yeah.
significantly.
I mean, I like Calvin Ridley and all, but Ridley and Julio is like your. I don't know how to like compare it to like another top 2 receivers on a team in years prior.
Well, me, Cole, and Byron Pringle.
No, I would take Julio and Calvin Ridley over that.
Suit
But-
yourself. AB and Josh Gordon. Oh, that didn't last.
No, shit. The
AB says his agent came out today and was just like, "Oh, he's going to play in the league again this year."
fuck? He
What a
might.
train wreck.
He might go to the Bills.
So maybe.
I could see that.
Who
But yeah,
knows,
like
man?
what kind of trade are you guys looking for? You can talk about like your Eagles. I don't care.
Would you do Josh Gordon after the knee?
I would be kind of hesitant about it, but what do we have?
Why
I mean,
hesitant?
Well, I mean, just because of his injury history and his substance abuse history, I don't
It's
know.
not
if-
substance abuse; it's weed.
It's weed.
well, whatever, it gets you suspended. That's all that matters.
Man,
I don't care what drug it is. If it gets you in
It's
trouble
a
with the
plant.
league, then it's going to be a problem.
It's a plant.
you're a plant. I'm a plant.
So that's what's holding me back right there. But that being said,
He should just play for Denver.
Dude,
But this is the kind of, if you want to keep parallels alive right now between them and the Philadelphia Phillies, we took everyone else's scrap heap of shit. He's going to, once off IR, he's released. He's a free agent, goes wherever the hell he wants, right? Like, why not? Like, that's
I can see
exactly
that.
what Howie does. or is looking to do. At least it's what it appears, right?
I'm just my only concern with it.
Tell me he can't get more targets than Mac fucking Hollins.
Well, you saw the Eagles do this something similar last year with Golden Tate. And
no, Golden Tate was playing and effective.
Dude,
Yeah.
well,
We didn't know how to use him because Mike Crow's a moron.
So what tells you that we're going to know how to use Josh Gordon then?
It doesn't matter. We're not using Mac Hollins. We're playing a 10 and 11 every single Sunday.
That's my point.
Josh Gordon has this kind of talent, though. He's a very good receiver, and I think he automatically makes the receiving core better as long as he's healthy, which I think he is. They're just trying to probably lower their fucking money that they have to pay him.
As long as you don't know how to use him, it's not going to make any sort of positive effect.
Well,
What?
No.
You have another threat out there, just like the Deshaun. This guy is good. He's going to take
Serviceable.
cornerbacks away. Yeah.
And I have no faith in Mike Crow and Doug Peterson's ability to use what talent
then
they
why
do
are
at
they
their
here?
disposal.
it doesn't make sense.
That's
At a
beyond
certain
me.
point,
That's beyond me.
these guys,
They don't know how to use the talent that they have at their disposal.
They're showing that they're unwilling at the very least. But they can't continue to be that ignorant to it. And you can't tell me that with the history of Josh Gordon, I'm not talking about his bullshit substance abuse or the injuries of recent years, but there is a true talent there. Fraction of what it used to be, but it's there. You can't tell me that name alone doesn't command more respect than Mac fucking Hollins. So
It does.
there's no
Absolutely.
way that Josh Gordon gets less than or doesn't get more than one target in 200 snaps. It's impossible. That helps. Even if it's 5 fucking targets in 200 snaps, it helps. There's 4 more tries that Zach Ertz doesn't have a double team, that Miles Sanders can actually be a running back and not a receiver. It's just, that's the type of, not move the needle, but it's effective type of a move.
All right. How about one that does kind of? Desmond Trufant.
Desmond Trufant, I would do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I as well as a Chiefs fan, even though Rashad Fenton had his breakout game. All right.
That was a fake offense.
I don't care. He still played well. Let's go to the quarterbacks. The potential
Let's.
quarterbacks moves.
We talked about this a little bit on
I know.
Chiefs talk.
Yeah, I mean, you got Cam Newton, who definitely lost his job, as much as they
Say
are
that
not
he
going
didn't.
to adhere to what I'm saying. Andy Dalton sucks.
And Dalton's terrible.
Mitch Trubisky sucks.
Stinks.
Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know if he's going to stick
That's
as a
interesting.
Saint. Yeah.
So Breeze said that he's going to try to practice this week, and if he can, he's going to go.
They're playing Arizona. I mean, Arizona's, 3-3-1 right now?
Which is surprising.
They're getting better,
Yeah.
each week.
They've played
they're-
pretty well. They have a respectable team, but you can still beat them with Teddy Bridgewater. So
Of course you can.
Well, yeah, they can beat
That's
everyone.
what I'm saying. There's no reason. There's no reason to rush back Drew Brees when Teddy Bridgewater's getting the job done.
Right. I think the thing there is that Drew Brees has a lot of say in that organization now with how much he's
yeah.
given it. I think he says, I want to play, they're going to play him.
Well, yeah, but
It sucks for Teddy Bridgewater, but I think
Titty.
I said Titty. I did say Titty. Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater.
I think he's really hyped up his stock, but I think they still want to keep him just in case Breeze
You
shows
don't
that
believe in
he's done.
Taysom?
No, he's not a quarterback.
He's as much a quarterback as Lamar Jackson is.
What? That's insane. What? Lamar Jackson is actually a quarterback now.
He's like every other week he's a quarterback or a running back. We don't really know what he is yet.
What is he has 7 teams that he's outrushed this year?
He's the new Mike Vick. It's okay.
I know Mike Vick just said that.
Yeah.
Mike Vick actually had an arm though.
Yeah,
He
this
has
guy.
an okay arm. And very few people have a Michael Vick arm.
Yeah.
Let's be serious here. But he's got a decent arm. He
He
just
got
throws
a
ugly.
got a below average arm, I'd say.
So Alex Smith's going to come back soon. He is. He's trying. He's going to get back.
So what's he going to be?
No.
The difference between 2-14 and 1-15 there?
No, 2-14 and 4-12. He wins them a game and 2 more.
Probably one of them against the Eagles.
Nah, the
the
Redskins
Eagles
are
are
winning
playing?
tonight. Shit, I'm missing quarterback. Shane, help me out.
Quarterbacks from this. So we talked about Trubisky. We talked about. We always talk about Tyrod Taylor just as a possible movement if Mahomes happens to go for longer. Granted, that asshole's practicing this week. Someone's got to be smart and tell him to not.
No, he is. They're not rolling him out.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. But imagine.
They're just playing with their heads.
So
They're
I
pulling
think
the
so
Belichick.
too. Yeah, that's there. He's not. We actually have a question about that later.
Okay. So Cam Newton, I think
We talked about Cam.
The smartest move for the Panthers is just let Cam go. Either trade him or cut him. You're saving $19 million in the cap,
Yeah.
which pays for all your guys that need deals, and you
Yep.
have Kyle Allen, and then you could draft someone, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton stinks.
All right, who would you prefer, Andy Dalton or Mitch Trubisky?
Trubisky by a hair, they both suck.
I'd take Trubisky just for his speed and his potential running.
And the fact that he's, like 7-8 years younger than Dalton?
Yeah,
Something
that
like
too.
That
I was
too.
thinking like for
But
this
just
year
for
for
the
the
year.
Bears.
I was thinking the Mariota and Tannehill thing. That was another one we
yeah.
didn't talk about.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think Tannehill's got the job for another 3 weeks at least.
I
give him
hope.
the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
Mariota sucks.
Yeah.
Mariota
Tannehill's at
does
least
stink.
like a
Jameis
decent
Winston was
average
another one.
quarterback.
He's up and down.
I think Winston's done this year there as well.
Who's his backup down there? I know they brought in Blaine Gabbert, but
Byron
he's hurt.
Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich.
No, he's the offensive coordinator. I think it is Blaine Gabbert.
Maybe.
Well, Gabbert's hurt right now.
Yeah. Shit, I don't know. Go
I'll
ahead,
look it up.
stats.
But this offseason is really going to show like a huge quarterback carousel.
Oh, yeah.
They got Ryan Griffin.
Okay.
Ryan Griffin. I don't know who the fuck he is, but
Neither do I.
he could be okay. We see him with Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew.
And
I think I
Foles.
mentioned it last week. You know, he's like they're going to groom him, keep him until Foles' contract is done and or continues to get hurt.
Yeah.
Shit, there's someone else. Marcus
don't think
Mariota,
there
I think,
is.
is trading. Joe Flacco sucks.
We didn't talk about Joe Flacco, though, but he's going to be there. Like,
Yeah,
they have to draft someone, so regardless, he's
I mean, they
kind
got
of in
Drew
an
Lock.
Elay.
They got Drew Lock.
I thought you just said Andrew Luck.
No, they got Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, yeah.
See, Andrew Luck retired, so Drew Lock didn't have any confusion.
That's fair. What a guy. So swell. All that money on the table just to let some guy have a name.
Yeah.
There's one more that we're missing?
Yes. Hold on, if I look at the standings,
Who was in Arizona before Kyler? Did Kyler start the opener? I can't recall.
Dude, I was talking about this right before I left work. I couldn't remember who was before Kyler Murray.
Fuck.
The Rams. No, they're not going.
Well, it was Rosen last year, but he went
That's
to
it,
Miami. And he got benched already, which I don't know if this is an indictment on Rosen just not being able to play the quarterback
No, he's
position
been throwing
in the
into
NFL,
some shitty fucking
or if it's just the fact
situations.
that I mean he fucking quarterbacked for Arizona and now Miami. So
Yeah.
I don't. Would you guys take a chance on him as a backup quarterback option for your team?
Josh Rosen.
I would, yeah.
I wouldn't have traded for him like before, but
No, he's still a very young player, second year in the league, top 10 draft pick. I forget where exactly he went, but
Yeah.
the talent definitely is there. He's just in a terrible situation.
yeah, twice.
Yeah, but yeah, so Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett.
I think after next year he's getting that monster deal as long as he continues playing like he is. Other than that,
Well, he got extended or something, right?
yeah, I think he got like 2 years, and they're paying him like starting quarterback money.
Yeah, that's
which
what
is
I
smart
thought.
by both teams, and well, actually both
Both
sides. Both
sides.
sides.
Yeah.
He is his own agent too. Derek Carr, he sucks.
Derek Carr, look, the Raiders situation forever is going, and especially so long as Gruden is there. Like, I think that he thinks he's still smarter than everyone in football, and I think that he thinks he can win with whatever quarterback's there, no matter.
All right, so we named them before we finish this part of it. Cam Newton, where does he start next year?
Cam Newton, I could see Cam Newton going to Tampa.
Tampa, with Bruce Arians. Okay,
I could see it
Rob?
working.
I was going to say Tampa as well. That's probably the most likely landing spot.
Really?
I don't think it's a likely landing spot. It's just where I think it would work.
It's the most likely landing spot.
I could see in Denver.
I don't know.
I can see
Who
it.
the hell? What's his name? Jesus Christ! Guy who's still banned from football. Kaepernick. Was the intended and target
They
there
wanted
so
him to half
long,
his salary, and he said no.
and he said no.
Yeah.
So you can now get a discounted at the time, I guess, version.
Yeah.
So that's a smart play. Similar to styled quarterbacks.
All right, Mariota, where does he play next year?
Mariota's going to be backing up somewhere. Tyrod Taylor's got a 1-year deal right now in L.A., right?
Yeah.
I think he goes out to L.A.
Really? Hoping Rivers dies.
No, I just think Tyrod Taylor's he's just going to be that, I'm going to go 1 year at a time and work his way through all 30-some franchises. How many franchises are there? 32?
Yes.
32,
That's what
yeah.
I thought.
Going back to Cam, I actually have a different destination for him. I think he might be with the Redskins next year.
The Redskins, even after Haskins and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be starting ahead of Haskins and 2 spots ahead of Colt McCoy.
You need to shut the hell up right now. No one needs to sit here and slander. I will not tolerate it on this podcast. I know we're joint hosting at this point, but I will put it up for a vote and your ass will be out.
All right. So Mariota, where do you see him playing next year?
Mariota, I could see Mariota in Tampa, actually.
Okay. I can see Mariota in Chicago.
Oof.
I don't see him supplanting Trubisky. I think Trubisky is a slightly.
He doesn't
better
have to
quarterback.
supplant him.
I could see a trade. I could see a trade.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Sure.
I could see a trade.
Yeah, both need a severe change of scenery. I think that they realize that Trubisky's not the answer there. Obviously, the answer is not Mariota in Tennessee. Throw Mariota over there in Chicago. It allows them to draft another quarterback high. All right, I dig it. I like the philosophy.
Wherever Mariota goes, he's going to be a bridge to what they hope to be the
Whatever
franchise
any of
quarterback
these guys
in the
go,
NFL.
they're going to be bridges, except for potentially Cam. That's the only one.
Yeah.
And I hate him. I think he's a shit quarterback.
That's one reason why I could see him going to the Redskins, because they'll throw a huge chunk of change his way, Dan Snyder being Dan Snyder, and they'll be stuck in cap hell forever because of it.
It's true.
All right. Andy Dalton.
Does anyone think he's getting a legitimate job somewhere?
Where do you see him backing up?
That's I don't. I wouldn't even want him holding a clipport for me.
I could see him backing up.
He is going to back up because he's. I mean, if Charlie Whitehorse could back up for 43 years, so can he. But let's see. Think of the awkward backup situations. Maybe he can go to Miami.
Backing up Carson Wentz here in Philly, the double gingers.
I'd like that to not happen. Thanks.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's a hard no for,
I
for me.
would take Andy Dalton as backup quarterback.
Why? You don't like Nate? You don't like Suggs?
I haven't seen enough from him.
No one has, so let him stay. Let him prove that he should or should not be here.
I'd rather go
Also,
somewhere.
Josh McCown, he's just going to stay the backup until he can't walk. Like, he's just going to continue to sign one-year deals because he's got the greatest hair in football and he needs to be holding a clipboard on the sidelines. He should be the offensive fucking coordinator and the play caller. I fixed it. That's it. That's it. We can end the pod now. I just got to send this over to the Eagles front office.
What, Josh McCown?
So, backup quarterback, offensive coordinator, and play caller.
That's only happened with Kellen Moore.
So, screw Kellen Moore. It's 37 points against the Eagles.
I can see Dalton backing up Daniel Jones in New York once Eli retires after this year.
I guess we don't really put a lot of stock in what's going on in New York.
Yeah.
Do they even know what's going on in New York? It doesn't really seem like they do.
They got Danny Dimes. They're okay.
Yeah, they got Danny Turnover.
They got 2 wins. That's okay. It's more than I thought. Actually, it's not. They thought we were going 7-9. That's what they were saying when I was there.
What?
Yeah, and I was like looking at him like, yeah, as long as Daniel Jones keeps playing that
Look,
well.
as bad as this division is, there's a strong possibility they could eke out 5. I'm not going higher than that.
Yeah, just 2 weeks ago, they were a game back in first place.
Yeah, I said they could go 6-10, maybe 7-9, as long as Daniel Jones played like that first game he played.
And now he can't stop turning the football over.
Yeah, it should have happened when you're a rookie, unless you're Patrick
But you know what?
Mahomes.
He's got 2 games coming up against that putrid Eagles secondary. He might be tossing dimes in those.
He
games.
might put up some Kevin Cobb-like numbers.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
All right, am I missing a quarterback that we talked about? Tannehill, I see staying in Tennessee.
Tannehill's he should win that job. He fits the offense well.
Yeah.
So long as they start using him appropriately and trusting him, fucking Vrabel. Who are we missed? Derek Carr. Do we think
Derek
he's
Carr.
still?
Yeah, he'll still
He's
be there.
staying.
He'll still be there. He might lose his job though when they draft a quarterback.
I don't know that he's going to lose. Well, maybe midway through the year, but
Yeah.
he's going to at least open up as a starter if
Yeah.
he's there.
All right,
I think it was all the quarterbacks.
I think that's it for trades and the potential quarterback carousel. Let's go to some questions for the WhatsApp mailbag.
All right, let's bring them up. All right, we'll go through some of these. First one, all right. We kind of discussed this already, so we'll just go short answer. I know that it's unrealistic to turn on a coach who just brought you your franchise's very first Super Bowl just a few years ago, but Doug is different this year, man. At what point does he have to be held accountable for the awful season and his awful handling of the media? Hell, even his team's awful handling of the media.
Well, he should have been held accountable starting last year, and I think that as a fan base, we've started holding him accountable already.
Yeah, but how do they hold him accountable? Like
The franchise.
What
Yeah,
can they
I don't
do,
know. I don't know
like,
what they're
publicly?
doing, honestly.
I went from last year saying give Doug Peterson whatever he wants. We don't care because we won us the Super Bowl to this year, and Jesus Christ. quick turnaround.
Well, the thing about the Eagles is that so much goes on behind closed doors that we don't really know how the coaches in the front office and ownership is handling everything. I mean, for all we know, Jeff Lurie could be down there every week giving shit to Doug and his coaching staff, but we'll never hear about it because they never reveal that stuff to the media and to the public. But, yeah, to answer the question, yes, it's well beyond time to start holding Doug accountable for it.
I think kind of, but I still think you hold that micro scapegoat thing and then see what happens there.
That's the first and most logical thing. Like I said, either Groh or Schwartz. The biggest thing that worries me is the fact that Doug does not seem like a guy who's in control. Like he's short with the media. He walks up with an agenda. He's already pissed off. You can tell he's probably rehearsing how he's going to respond to questions he knows he's going to get in the shower, in the car, taking a shit, walking across the practice field. Like this stuff is consuming his mind, and you can tell he is a stressed out dude. And he comes out there and he's got an edge, and it's not a good edge. One thing that Brandon Graham spoke about in his recent interview was no, not Brandon Graham, excuse me. He was a different part of the interview. Jason Kelsey. Don't know how I fucked that up. But quite similar.
Same
but you know, it was they had asked like, oh, you know, do you need to get angry? And he said, no, like we can't get angry. We have to get effective. And I think that's correct. Like Doug Peterson right now is angry and he's emotional, and it's not good. It's not good for him. It's not a good look for the franchise. It's obviously not good for the game planning and how he's scheming things. He's taking way too much into consideration, way too much stock into things that the outside is saying, or at least that's the way we perceive it. The guy needs to find some control, needs to find some stability and calm himself down and just coach the way that he initially came in the door and wanted to coach. So that's the Doug question. Second question we got in is obviously Howie's not going to make a splash. He is choosing value picks that won't come through anyway, but he's now looking for, or at least we can assume he is looking for cheaper bargain hunting and semi-serviceable options. Who else is out there that we can go after? So we talked about possibly Josh Gordon. We talked about Trufant. You guys think of anyone else that right now that could be a logical bargain option for this Philadelphia Eagles team?
I don't know how much of a bargain he would be, but Xavier Howard, cornerback from Miami, he's going to be
expensive.
I don't think he's going to be as expensive as Patrick Peterson, though. That's the thing. Peterson's at the top of the trade market for cornerbacks. He's going to draw the most interest and also be the most valuable. I think that you can get...
We've been linked to him for
How is that? Xavier Howard's one of the best cornerbacks. Patrick Peterson is getting suspended and he's getting up there in age. Xavier Howard is just coming off of his
name and pedigree.
Name value. And the fact that Xavier Howard plays for a winless team down in Miami, that's putrid.
Well, that is another thing.
Yeah, but Minkah Fitzpatrick still got a decent return, and Xavier Howard is better than that.
I don't see him being more highly valued than Patrick Peterson is. It is a name thing.
What did Minkah go for?
Minkah went for like a second and a third, I think.
Okay.
You're probably going to have to throw in a first for Peterson.
Of course you're going to
throw in a first and a second for Xavier, I can see.
I don't see it being that much. I don't see it. I could see it being a first, but not a second involved.
Yeah, I don't think there's any scrap heap options here. I think that the only thing you could possibly do is take a look at practice squads and shit like that. Markham Michel is the one that has been written about recently. He's the guy who caught the first preseason touchdown for the Eagles, Nate Sudfeld to Markham Michel, 75-yard dime. But I don't. There's not a whole lot of value options right now that are going to excite anybody.
And the biggest position that they need to fill is cornerback. They need to shore up there. I mean, we could go for a receiver, but we desperately need cornerback help.
Well, I can't say I 100%. Well, I don't disagree. I shouldn't say it that way, but I think that at this point there is so much fucking wrong with that defense. I would just put all my stock into making it as an explosive an offense that you can possibly create and go Chiefs style, and just say, look, you just.
So go for AJ Green.
So you said go for AJ Green?
Yeah.
Yes. Shell of him for his former self, but if the asking
he's
price
just nuts.
Right,
he punches people in the helmet. What kind of idiot does that? I've never gotten over that. He got ejected from a game when he was on my fantasy teams. The only reason I remember this as vividly as I do, this moron tries to punch through a helmet. He's a fucking receiver. I can't bring him here. I'll take him. I'm just saying, he's an idiot. Like, What kind of guy?
I'm looking at, he's also Deshaun Jackson in the way that he's over 30 and every year he misses a few games.
Always with the feet and ankles.
Yeah,
this guy's got issues. But he'll fit right in. All right, the 49ers are a guilty pleasure of mine since I was a teenager in the late 80s, early 90s. Do you feel like this start is sustainable? I'm not talking about the perfect record, but I'm saying a legitimate top 3 to 5 team for the entirety of this season.
No.
I'd have to go, not a hard no, but no. Just because they have, I mean, yes, they did beat the Rams, but
Is
the
it
Rams...
because their quarterback is Jimmy G?
No. No. I think they're a good team, but I don't see them making it past, say, the second round of the playoffs.
I see they going like 10-6, 11-5, looking at their schedule.
Yeah, I have them right around 10-6. I don't see them playing for the NFC Championship or playing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't even think they win their division, but they're definitely first wild card.
Seattle's the best team in that division.
Russell Wilson, you mean?
Yeah,
Russell Wilson is the
He
best
is
team in
the
that division.
Yeah, the guy's nuts. There's always a team that like there's nothing overly sexy about them, and there's nothing sexy about the 49ers, in my opinion. But they just work. Like they're like the 2004 Pistons. I think it's 2004.
Yeah, the championship team.
Yeah.
So you're saying they're winning the championship?
I'm just saying there's nothing fucking sexy about that basketball team. Nothing. But they worked.
It's like the
It was
freaking
like the perfect blend. It was,
like the like the 2012 Devils that went to the Stanley Cup.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, no.
Hey,
Glad the Kings wrecked them.
So, 100% agree. I laughed at this. What the fuck is a Mac Hollins? That's a funny question.
You know what's
Just the way
funny?
it was phrased.
you know what's funny? When I tried to say Mac Hollins into my phone to send a voice text, it corrected it to Matt Collins.
To what?
Matt Collins.
Oh, I thought we were going to make an autocorrect joke right now. I tried
Well, it
to
is
say,
an autocorrect joke.
Yeah, Matt Hollins.
I know, but I thought he was going to say just garbage or something like that, which would have been insanely funny. But what the fuck is a Mac Hollins? He's an ineffective NFL wide receiver who reappeared from the dead this year after a complete mindfuck of a calf injury or whatever the hell he had last year. What did he have? Was it an ankle or was it a sports hernia?
I think it was a sports hernia.
Who fucking knows? The guy just disappeared. He was supposed to be gone for like a week and then just never showed up again. And somehow he's on the outside.
Yeah, well, he's being trained by the Eagles training staff, so...
That's true. Whole city.
Yeah.
Got the best
Whole
fucking medical
damn
facilities and
yeah.
hospitals in the country. Worst for our sports teams.
It's
All
a
right.
problem.
So this one is for both of you. I know this one is. This is my buddy wrote this in. He goes, I know Shane loves Nelson Aguilar, so I don't want to hear shit from him. What do the other guys think about old stinkskin alligator arms? Another deep ball that should have been a TV.
That was one of the most inexcusable things I've ever seen in my life.
Even from
That-
every angle.
That pass landed 2 feet from him. You know, people were talking about, oh, maybe he should have dove for it. He didn't need to dive for it. All he needed to do was extend his arms. He would have caught it.
Yeah.
Jesus,
the fact, like seeing him pull
that was
back,
one of the
it's
most embarrassing things I've ever seen in my life, aside from the Eagles' performance as a whole on Sunday night. Literally that play right there was a microcosm of the game. It was that bad. And from a guy who's dropped a lot of passes this season, who's had one effective season out of 4 or 5 now that he's been in the league, that's a bad look right there, man. That's a real bad look. And that's if I was the coach and if we had more options at receiver, which we don't, I would have benched his ass.
I think
For what? To play
Aguilar's
11 on 9? Shit.
Well,
No.
that's what I'm
3
saying.
tight ends.
If we had more options at receiver, which we don't, which is why he needs to be out there.
just put Miles Sanders at receiver.
He is.
Aguilar, I think, is a decent wide receiver. I think he'll do well
Elsewhere?
when he's not in Philadelphia.
So do I.
When he's, in like fucking randomly like fucking Arizona, he'll be doing well.
I just assumed he was going to be a Patriot and they would just turn him into something.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
No, they only like
maximize
white
slot
receivers.
guys.
They only like white receivers.
It's true. They all have short stays if you're not.
It's true.
It's very true.
Yeah, I think Nelson will do pretty decently after this year when he's not in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he'll go to some team that's consistently 8-8 every year, never playing in the playoffs, never playing in any
So the Titans.
high-profile games. Yeah, the Titans. The Titans, exactly. Titans, Jacksonville, someplace like that. And he'll quietly have a very nice career there, but nobody will ever know about it because he'll never play in any big games.
The hatred for him is so strong.
I don't hate the guy. He's just played like shit this year.
All right, we got two more. This one's for Steve. Why the hell is Patrick Mahomes already practicing? This has to be just to force Green Bay to prepare for two quarterbacks, right? Don't let his poor kid play. Someone has to be smart for him if he can't be that smart for his damn self.
I 100% agree. I would rest Patrick Mahomes, and this is countering what I said last week.
I know.
Which is fucked up, and it's the only reason he got hurt.
It's the same writer, too.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck you, this is your fault. This is all your fault. But yeah, well, after, if you listen to Chiefs talk, I've already said that I've convinced myself that Matt Moore will be decent for at least 2 weeks.
He's going to be fine.
Yeah, I watched, 30 minutes of highlights of Matt Moore. Matt Moore will do fine. But Patrick Mahomes, I'm okay with him practicing as long as he's straight limited in it. Apparently, he was taking it as the backup. He was taking those reps, which kind of scares me. I'd rather Kyle Schremer get those just in case.
Just in case.
But, yeah, we'll see. They have to be smart about this, and I know he wants to play.
Of course he does.
But the whole organization has to be smart about this. This is your Lord and Savior, Patrick Mahomes II. You can't fuck this up. You can't fuck it up. This is a winnable game as long as the defense plays like they did last week and Matt Moore does serviceable.
You know what they're planning for? Spotting them like a 3-touchdown lead in the second half, and then bringing out Patrick Mahomes to be the Lord and Savior and pull off the greatest comeback of all time.
And then he fucking fractures his knee. And
my knee.
You all remember last year?
I don't know. It's
Aaron Rodgers.
One injury. He's not officially injury prone yet, so I won't go that far.
He's got 2 injuries technically right now. He's got that dislocated knee. He's got that
cap. People are really getting pissed off that we all keep saying that.
What, dislocated knee?
Yeah.
Okay, dislocated knee cap. Fuck you.
Somebody's knee.
Which, by the way, could not have been fun to pop back into place.
It's not. No. I've done it myself before, and I don't want to. We can't talk about that anymore.
All right. My knee hurts now.
Yeah, everything hurts.
But he's got that injured ankle. He's got this kneecap dislocation that has been located. You let him sit out. Sure, you can let him practice, but let him truly heal up. I'm okay with him missing these 2 kind of big games against the Packers and the Vikings. If he is healthy enough to come back after those 2, then sure, you put him back in. But now I'm agreeing with you right here that he needs to get the rest, and we're going with Matt Moore.
Yeah, I think you should just be cautious. It's
yes.
the MVP of the fucking league.
Yeah.
If he doesn't need to play, still give him another couple weeks.
Yeah.
All right, so our last one, and I saved this for last just because when I read it, I didn't know what I was reading, and then I got to the end, and I realized that we're all of you. So, writer of this question, we are all of you. We are all you. We are all you. That's how it was supposed to be phrased. All right. Listen, long day. What would Doug Peterson do for a Klondike bar? How many licks for Howie to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? When will Laurie step in and Chip Kelly these fools? Do you think Carson is mad because he got a little twig and balls? I need a beer. That was literally it. This is how this guy sent this shit into me.
Yeah, well, his mind is in a blender, just like mine is, and probably yours is, and everybody else's is here in Philadelphia. And yes, we all need a beer. And Steve is currently drinking one right now.
No, I'm actually all out, so yes, I do need a beer.
Yeah, he does. Which means we're rapidly getting to the end of the pod.
Wait, Steve, is that a freaking water you're drinking right now?
Yes.
Holy shit. Never thought I'd see the day.
He drinks an assload of water.
Yeah. Drink water all the time.
You were the one who drank an assload of water last time.
It's true, and I do have to piss right now, and thank you for reminding me.
I too have to piss because I drank half this water after the beer.
That's true.
But yeah, to answer your question, go for that beer. And go for 10 more after that.
Drink 3 beers. Realize that you're only 1 game out still of the NFC East. That you're 3-4. You're only 1 game under 500, and things can be okay.
They could right the ship, especially when they trade for Nick Foles back.
It's Philadelphia. Panic mode is the official language of Eagles fans.
I know sometimes it's fucking stupid, right now. Well, it's not as stupid as it was 2 weeks ago. But
it
still.
Is dumb.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this one up while on beer. Let's podcast is called Backyard Beers and Football. What's the rate the drink for this week? So I need a drink from both of you that I got to rate. It was a stressful week for Steve, watching his quarterback get his knee put back together on camera. No one liked it. Yeah. And it was a disappointing week for Rob because, well, he's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So what are we going with here, fellas? Let's start with you, Rob.
Oh, man.
Drink of your week. What satisfied
since
you?
The Eagles, they seemed like they were pretty much passed out the whole night on Sunday. I'm going to go with one drink that famously knocked me out, and I woke up the next morning on my friend's trampoline, and that is Jungle Juice.
Ugh, Jungle Juice. You can literally put any shit in there as long as it's got 3 liquors.
Yeah, well, the way that I remember, I don't know, I was really drunk that night, but I remember that it was mixed. It was fruit punch, lemonade, and a shitload of Everclear.
Oh, God. Yeah, Everclear do that.
Yeah, and I had, I don't know, probably like 7 or 8 of them, which was a lot. And I don't remember much other than waking up at like 10 o'clock the next morning, passed out, or waking up on my buddy's trampoline.
All right, man. I think it's appropriate for the week.
Well, it seems like the Eagles went ahead and drank a shitload of it on Sunday night.
Yeah, but they were never feeling good.
That's why they're late for practices and meetings.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, I'm going to go
For the record,
with
I don't remember if I was feeling good either, so...
All right, there you go. Well, we're going to go with an 8.4 on yours, specifically for the knockout rate. Steve, for you, sir,
I think
what was clenching for you?
I think either one of us have done this before, but Irish car bombs.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, because of the reuse and the retread of drink selection here. You are penalized, sir. That one is a 3.1. First
penalized?
time
What are you,
was
the
a
Eagles
7.9.
defense?
What's that?
So penalized, what are you, the Eagles defense?
Or the Chiefs defense.
Except for last week.
And the reason the Broncos scored was because they had 2 third down
fair.
stops, but negated because of penalties.
Well.
So it could have been a shutout. Yeah. So
All
Irish
right.
car bombs. The
Irish
only reason
car
it's
bomb.
mine because I did way too many of them Friday after I convinced myself Matt Moore will be fine.
Quality stuff.
I think you get bonus points for the reason there.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's 3.3 now. It's 0.2 on the bonus there. So we got an Irish car bomb, we got Jungle Juice. So don't die this week, folks. There's still football to be played and be disappointed by here in Philadelphia. While you are drinking that, if you'd like to help yourself sober up by just putting a ton of food in your system, I suggest you do so by Just Food. Rob, what are you going to get from Just Food this week?
I don't know. They have such a wide selection there. It's always hard to pick. I mean, I go in and there's just so many options that I love. I'm a big fan of turkey wraps.
Turkey wraps? He's going to roll with a turkey wrap. He's a stop-and-go kind of guy. He is always on the road. Our regular, your favorite Uber driver, Rob. Steve, what are you going to get from Just Food this week?
Shrimp salad.
Shrimp
It was
salad
so goddamn
again.
good.
You are in love with that shrimp salad, man.
Yeah.
Not enough places have shrimp salad, for one. And two, it is freaking delicious when you head to Just Food. I cannot get enough of their smoked pulled pork. This thing, it is ungodly good. And whatever their barbecue sauce is, whatever their particular recipe is, absolutely fantastic. So the three of us will be going to Just Food. What will you do? Go to Just Food. 215-794-FOOD. 215-794-3663. Treat yourself. Take it home. Rob, why don't you beg for reviews and threaten lives when they don't give it to us?
Yeah, you should really give us, because we're in a pissed off mood this week. Our fucking football team shit the bed. So give us some goddamn reviews, because that's probably the only thing that'll cheer us up at this point. Yeah, we're on iTunes is where you can give us the reviews, give us the rating as well. You can also listen to us Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, I believe we're on there. And
iHeartRadio, Google Play, we're everywhere.
pretty much everywhere. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, we're there.
It's true.
And you can find us online at www.alwaysnexttoyourpodcast.com. Check out all the great articles and all the different stuff that we have coming out there.
There's plenty of shows here, shows for everyone. Rob hosts Disciples of Ed, which we will record shortly after this one. We'll also post the same day that you're listening to this, so do yourself a favor and listen to both. Steve, you host 2 shows. What do you host?
Chiefs Talk and Whiskey Ramble. So if you want to hear about the Chiefs, my most recent one was actually very depressing. You can hear the misery in my voice. Because my friend said, hey, I listened to your most recent one. And I was like,
are you okay?
And I was like, so how was it? He's like, you can hear the misery. And I was like, yeah, I know.
I used the word melancholy when I described it.
I also host Whiskey Ramble, which is literally sober Shane and me progressively getting usually more drunk, because I usually show up drunk to that one.
That's true.
And I kind of just rant about shit and talk about life and everything. So it's usually a very, very funny time.
It is. It's probably my favorite pod to record. And then we have in Cap We Trust, which we are reforming, obviously, and now with the
Joey
news
Trust?
today. I don't know, man. But Joe Girardi's the new manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, which is great. And then for our other hosts here, let's see, Scott does TJ's One of Us or Sixers show. He is also now on Crossing Borders with Connor. And then we have LJ and Connor put together the Kelly Green Hour and the People's Take. I think, if they still do it, who knows? I'm sure I'm missing some segments in here. But rate us and review all of them.
Also, I believe LJ and I are still working on getting a college basketball.
That's right.
pod
I forgot
going.
you guys are doing that. March Madness pod. I dig it. That's it for Backyard Beers and football. I got to take a leak, so we're going to end this one. We will see you guys in Disciples of Ed in 5 minutes of recording time.
A fighting man I used to be, revered and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and such eagle my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son still had me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.